In this example, we are going to withdraw from our PayPal account into Kraken, which has some paired markets that we can use to strategically rebalance what we received from Celsius. I am logged into PayPal. I am going to go to Finances and Crypto. And I do not want to do buy or sell. I want to, in this case, send some Ethereum. And I want to click these arrows pointing in opposite directions. And I want to send Ethereum. And I'm going to want to paste an address in here from, in this case, Kraken. I am going to go to the deposit option and I want to deposit Ethereum. And the network I want to deposit on is going to be Ethereum itself. I am going to leave the smart contract option and I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to switch back to PayPal and paste this address. Now, I've already sent a test transaction. What I do advise is that you try to get as close to a whole number of ETH as possible. So we've put in the magic dollar value that perfectly matches the amount of Ethereum we want to send. If you look at the way in which mixers work, they pick a round number, which makes tracking more difficult because if people only send in those whole numbers, it is more difficult to distinguish them from other transactions. If you have a very particular amount of cryptocurrency, it becomes almost like a fingerprint, where if somebody knows that exact amount, they can very easily find your particular transaction. So we just have to wait until that deposit clears. After that point, we can select different trading pairs. And there's some strategies that will be rather useful. In this spreadsheet here, I have 3 sample claims. I've put in the majority of my own claim, which was a mix of mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. So my total claim value was approximately $67,000. And there's some other sample claims I've put in here of $100,000. In this example, this is somebody who had all Bitcoin, which is about 5 Bitcoin. So let's talk through what this person might want to do with their distribution. This person would have received just under 3/4 of a Bitcoin and approximately 10.5 Ethereum. If this person is a Bitcoin maxi, they probably don't want Ether. So what could they do? If they transfer to an exchange such as Kraken that has Bitcoin Ethereum pairings, this person can then trade out of the Ether directly into Bitcoin. I want to find the Ethereum Bitcoin market. And that is here. Make sure you're doing spot and not margin. You would have to apply for special rights to do margin trading. And that is mostly for either high-risk people or idiots. So I don't have my Ethereum cleared, but let's say I wanted to trade out of 4 ETH for Bitcoin. I highly recommend selecting a limit order. You don't want to do market or you're going to usually wind up with a bad execution price. A limit order is you specifying the price at which you want to purchase. So we're going to purchase 4 at a limit price, and what we can do here is select the bid orders and get a selection slightly below the top bid, which would mean your order is not going to instantly execute, but if you have this pattern of a downtrend, you can hopefully wait until it continues and snap up your order. What this would mean for this individual is that they are reestablishing their Bitcoin position. So they would have gone from just under 3/4 of a Bitcoin and 10.5 Ethereum to approximately 1.4 BTC, which would mean they're missing 3.63 Bitcoin. The good thing about this technique is you're able to reestablish your initial holdings without being forced into an asset that you simply did not want to be invested in. The way I would interpret this for tax purposes, and keep in mind I am not your tax advisor, and it's wise to consult a certified public accountant if possible. But what you could try doing is listing this as being short Bitcoin via Ethereum. And you would have to fill out Form 8949. We could say we've entered into our position on the 8th of February, and let's say it's also resolved in the same day. And we have a slightly different price from what we sold out of our Ethereum for from when we received it. So this would result in a $10 gain. It should be minimal if you make this trade soon after you receive your distribution. Note that the proceeds and the cost basis are expressed in US dollars because the IRS is not particularly friendly with regards to cryptocurrency. In the future, it would make sense to be able to express this in units of cryptocurrency when the cost basis is denominated in said cryptocurrency. Now that the depositor in our example has changed their liquid crypto distribution into the desired allocation, they can look to file theft losses based upon the Ponzi-like structure of Hellsius and the criminal charges filed against its management. You'll recall that two C-level officers, Ronnie Cohen-Pavan, who has pled guilty to the charges, and CEO Alex Mashinsky, who is facing his trial this fall, we have a cost basis we'll need to calculate for all the investments that we've made. And that's the price at which we acquired our Bitcoin. So in this example, the person has progressively, once a month, acquired about 1 BTC up until May, after which they bought half a Bitcoin. And I did that so that we could say that they've accumulated half a Bitcoin worth of yield. And we'll see how that fits into the form we're going to fill out together. So this person has a cost basis of $191,000. And how does that translate into their holdings? So what we've done here is we've said we've recovered the 1.4 Bitcoin that we purchased most early on. And you could do a different treatment, but it's just important you remain consistent. Otherwise, you'll have to explain why you made the selections. So in our example here, we've recovered our first Bitcoin and 40% of the second Bitcoin, and the rest has been Mashinsky'd. So we're going to want to write down our losses under this Mashinsky doctrine. So we've recovered $62.7 thousand worth of crypto. We unfortunately are going to need to do this in USD terms. So you can use the January 16th date for that if you'd like. And here we have a shortfall of just under $150,000 from all the Mashinsky'd coins. We will make additional recoveries, though, through the mining shares and the illiquid recoveries. Mining shares will be roughly 1/4 your liquid recovery, and the illiquid recoveries will be approximately 11%. Let's take a look at how we might translate this Excel worksheet into filing our taxes to claim our Ponzi-like theft losses. This will be on Form 4684 in Section C. And on line 40, we're going to put our initial investment, which I've interpreted as the first deposit onto the platform in USD. In our example here, we're saying our sample person has deposited 1 Bitcoin as their first deposit. And we're going to look at the cost basis for that deposit. And that is our initial investment, which is just over $46,000. And then the remaining deposits were added here together and are about $144,000. The fake rewards that you received and paid taxes on will be added to line 42. In our example here, I've just made them half of a Bitcoin, which makes them just over $21,000. If we add them all together, we get $212,000. So this is the total exposure we have. We made no withdrawals in our example, although in your case, that may differ. If you did make withdrawals, you'll make sure to subtract that number on line 44, which gives you the total on line 45. Next up, we're going to estimate our losses here. So if you're not expecting any recovery, you would put 95%. Because you as a Hellsius victim are expecting a third-party recovery, you would enter 75%. And if you multiply that by line 45, in this case, you would get just under $160,000. In our case, we're calculating that our actual recovery would be $79,000. And we do that by adding the mining shares with the recovered liquid crypto. And that would be our $79,000 near-term recovery. We'll also be expecting longer-term recoveries from our liquid assets and the litigation trust. This will trickle in over time, even though it has nothing to do with insurance and SIPC. We don't have SIPC insurance. The litigation trust was self-funded and will be acting on our behalf in a similar fashion. So it may make sense to place that number here, which in this example works out to $6,900. Your CPA may have contrary advice, and I would listen to that over my own. Then if we add these together, we get $85,900 as our total recovery. And subtracting that from the number earlier on, we are left with $73,500 worth of tax-deductible losses. Now, our total actual losses are more than that. We are out $126,600, but we're only able to deduct $73,500 based upon this worksheet. But hey, it's better than nothing. Again, I cannot stress enough that a CPA who is more familiar with this form and the tax procedures may find a way of filling them out more to your advantage than my sample here. But this is at least going to get you off to a start, so you're going to have an idea about what that conversation might look like. And we would fill in our information for Hellsius Network as the party that defrauded us, and would put in their tax number and their new address, which hopefully will not be in business for much longer. Again, this is not me as a tax expert, but more as somebody who's looking to find the answers. I am sure I have made mistakes. I'd appreciate anybody who can correct me on those mistakes. I look forward to more depositors getting their liquid crypto distributions as those trickle in through next week, and potentially getting tax write-offs due to the fraud that we have all experienced together. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to be doing a live stream this coming Friday for Justin, trying to raise him some funds for a course that he's doing for his career. He is a Hellsius victim who was living out of his car in South America through the bankruptcy. If you'd like to join for that, it would be very cool. We've raised about $1,000 so far and are looking to add on to that. And really to celebrate getting our liquid crypto distributions and trying to do something nice for one of our own. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.